This is our first program for the new year, and we are starting with a new theme. The theme is Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender. It's from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, verse 1 to 29. And the very first program, we are starting with our very wonderful devotees, Guruvani Mataji, Kirtan, and Ashu. Ashu has joined from India to give this program. So, with that, over to Kirtan and Ashu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Today, Asha and I will be going over Gajendra's prayers of surrender from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, texts 1 through 29. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Shashwatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udaryate Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nishtaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulam Hyagate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Now Ashu will tell the introduction to this presentation.
Hare Krishna. So here's the story behind this this image. This is actually a story of Gajendra. So there was this ocean of milk, and there's a mountain named Trikuta. And in this mountain there was a valley, and in that valley there was a garden named Ritumat, which was actually constructed by Varuna. And in this valley, I mean, like in this garden, there lived a king, an elephant king with his family. And he actually one day, I mean, like this Gajendra, this elephant, was actually enjoying in the lake, and suddenly he got attacked by a crocodile, the chief of the crocodile. And Gajendra, as he was in the lake, it's in the water, and we know, I mean, like crocodiles are, it's their terrain. I mean, they are very powerful in water. Poor Gajendra, I mean, like he was helpless, and this chief of crocodile, I mean, he what he did was, he, with his sharp teeth, he actually ripped the leg, and grabbed his leg of the elephant, of Gajendra, and he was totally helpless. At that point of time, I mean, like, he actually remembered, he chanted Lord Vishnu's name, and what happened is, like, Lord Vishnu came for his rescue, and Lord Vishnu, with his Sudarshan chakra, beheaded, I mean, like, the crocodile. Um, he actually came to rescue his devotee when the devotee is in pain. So this was the actual story behind it, and we actually don't know what Gajendra's backstory and the crocodile's backstory is. So Gajendra actually was in a previous birth a king named Indradamuna, not the Indradamuna which we know in the pastimes of Jagannath. This king in his previous, this elephant in his previous birth was like a very very good devotee of Lord Vishnu. And after he's serving his, after retiring his family life, he actually moved on to a small cottage in a mountain, and in Maha Hills, Malay Hills, and along with devotional service. So what happened was he was actually meditating in this hills and meditating about Vishnu. And what happened was one day Agastya Rishi and his disciples were like just walking by, and this king, he did not notice them, and he was like in constant meditation. And Rishi and his disciples got very offended. I mean, you know what? I mean, like we being a rishi, and we were not welcomed the way we should be, and they got really offended, and they cursed this king. And the Agastya Rishi cursed that in his next birth he'll become a dull elephant. So even becoming an elephant, he still could remember in this life, in this elephant form, that he could still revive this devotion to Vishnu in this difficult time. And this crocodile, what we're talking about, he was also a Gandharva in his previous life, named Huhu. And once he was enjoying this water and with women, and he did not show respect to Devala Rishi, and Devala Rishi cursed this Gandharva to become a crocodile. And by Vishnu's grace, Vishnu's mercy, what happened is like this elephant, Gajendra, became an associate of Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha after releasing, after leaving this elephant form. And this crocodile, this crocodile received his previous position of Gandharva and returned to Gandharva Loka. So this is the backstory of uh, of Gajendra. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, Verse 1. Shri Badrayana Uvacha Evam Vyavasito Buddhya Samadhaya Manoridhi Jajapa Paramam Japyam Prabjanmani Anushikshitam. Translation. Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued. Thereafter, the king of elephants, Gajendra, fixed his mind in his heart with perfect intelligence and chanted a mantra which he had learned in his previous birth as Indramana, and which he remembered by the grace of Krishna. So the purport, I mean, what the purport says here is actually this actually shows that that in this life, if we are hearing about Krishna, someone is telling us about Krishna to chant Hare Krishna. Krishna is giving us actually a chance to revive our devotion. It says that we did not utilize the opportunity to take up devotional service completely in our last birth, and Krishna so mercifully is reminding us through his devotees. These statements also give us hope. If we sincerely practice chanting this birth, though we may not reach perfection, we will get chance to practice devotional service again in next birth. We see an example of Ajmila how doing devotional service in young age helped him to chant name Narayana at the time of death. We should remember to chant Krishna's name in any circumstances. We should remember Gajendra's story and make it a habit, because any little effort made in devotional service doesn't go waste. If we are sincere in practice, Krishna will give us another chance even if we fall down in another life form. So in these words, it is assured that even if a person engaged in devotional service falls down, he is not degraded, but his place is in position in which he will, due course of time, remember the supreme personality of Godhead. Yatate cha tato bhuya samsiddhau kuru nandana. To enable one to achieve perfection, Krishna gives one the chance to remember him. So the conclusion about this chapter, this verse, is like, it doesn't matter. I mean, like, even if you're chanting one round, the effort is what makes accounts. You have to, you have to, you don't need to even think about how much you're putting in, efforts in Krishna consciousness. You just need to practice, and it will eventually, it will help you out. It never goes in vain. whatever you do, whatever practice you do in Krishna consciousness, Krishna, it doesn't go in vain. It always stays with you, no matter how much ever you do. That's what my this about this verse conclusion is. And now I will Kirtan will go on from here on. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ashu. I will read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, Text 2. Shri Gajendra Uvacha Om Namo Bhagavate Tashamayam Yata etak atmakam Purushyadi Bijaya Para Eshaya Bidimahi. Translation. The king of the elephants, Gajendra, said, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Person, Vasudev. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Because of him, this material body acts due to the presence of spirit, and he is therefore the root cause of everyone. He is worshipable for such exalted persons such as Brahma and Shiva, and he has entered the heart of every living being. Let me meditate upon him. So expanding on this verse, I'll say a few points and then give my realization. Etad chit atmakam, this material body acts due to the presence of spirit. The material body certainly consists only of material elements, but when one awakens to Krishna consciousness, understanding, the body is no longer material, but also spiritual. Purushu nara mati, one should stop thinking of the spiritual master as an ordinary human being with a material body. Acharya Vishnu Shiladihi, everyone knows that a deity in the temple is made of stone, but to think that a deity is merely stone is an offense. A pure devotee who is engaged in unalloyed devotional service should be understood to be situated on the transcendental platform. Saguna Samyati Brahma Bhuya Kalpate. So one common misconception that many times we have is that even though a spiritual master has such a high place in the spiritual world, we assume that in the material world, he does not maintain the same spirituality. So we should not think of the spiritual master as possessing a material body. In the Guruvashtakam prayers, we sing Sakshat Daritvena Samashtra Sastre, the spiritual master to be honored such as the Supreme Lord, because he is the most confident servitor of the Lord. This is acknowledged in all and revealed in all scriptures and followed by all authorities. So here we can see that even though they have material bodies, it is just a tool for them, not the definition of what they are. Just like we don't consider a deity as stone or metal, even though they're made of stone and metal. So we're relating Guru to Krishna, as Krishna, to make it easy for us to serve him, comes in the form of stone or metal. The Guru also comes in the form of material body for make it acceptable or easy for us to serve him. A pure devotee engaged in the service of Krishna is in transcendental platform. We have heard in Giriraj Maharaj's lecture last Sunday how pure devotees also undergo pain, but not because of their karma or because their body is material like ours, but as a part of their service to Krishna. Since they are pure, anything they do is in service to Krishna. We should not think that since they're showing distress, it is because they're not advanced or pure. So sometimes when we see a pure devotee get some sort of illness or some sort of sickness, it's easy to think that, oh, they also have bad karma, they also did bad things, so they're getting the karma for it. But that's not the case with spiritual masters and spiritual gurus, because they're advanced enough that their body is just a vehicle. It's not to get rid of their karma. The reason they're here is to give us a chance to serve them, and not because they have to rectify something. So we should acknowledge that pure devotees' physical pain and bodily problems and do service to alleviate them for our own purification. So even though we understand that these ailments and physical problems are not affecting them and not because of their karma, it still means we should take care of them. So if Maharaj is sick or Maharaj is not feeling well, we should do our best to serve them, instead of just saying, oh, they can handle it. They're just they don't belong in the material body. So we need to empathize with them and serve the pure devotees during their illnesses and physical problems. And this both helps us relieve us of our material, of our to give us more spiritual advancement, and also give us a chance to serve them. Here, we'll analyze what Gajendra is saying. So, Om Tat Sat Iti Nirdeshu Brahmanastri Veda Samritaha. The three words Om Tat Sat immediately invoke the Supreme Person. Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. So here, Krishna says that he is Omkara of all the Vedic mantras. There is no difference between the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, and Omkara, Pranava. Omkara is the representation of the Supreme Person. Omkar does not indict anything Nirankara. Therefore, this verse uses the word Parashaya. Gajendra uses the syllable Om here to show that the personal form of the Lord, not the impersonal form. And he's established clearly, because he's directly saying Omkara to Krishna, not to just the presence. So this also shows that Gajendra is in fact a pure devotee. So many times people will say, oh, well, you're taking advice from an elephant. I mean, they obviously don't mean it, but they're trying to put down the story. So one way we can symbolize this is that even though that he was an elephant, it is just the vehicle he's in. So like how spiritual masters have a material body, Gajendra also has his elephant body. So now Ashu will give a short practical application for these verses.
Hare Krishna. So practical application which we can actually implement in our daily life is like we have to be grateful for getting opportunity to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and doing devotional service. This means Krishna is actually providing us with a second chance to revive the devotional practice we couldn't complete in our last life. We can utilize this opportunity and sincerely practice so we can complete the process in this life only. If by some offense we take animal birth in next life, we may not be fortunate like Gajendra to remember Krishna. See the body of advanced devotees as being spiritual, serve them at every opportunity, emphasize with the physical pain with mood of serving them and purifying ourselves, learn from observing how they remain fixed in service in spite of physical problems which proves the transcendental nature of their body. Hare Krishna.
So one thing we can take from both these practical applications is that we should not take for granted the situations we're given. So like when we go book distribution, one of the bigger reasons we ask for a donation for a book is first of all to cover the printing cost, but also so the people that take the book understand that it has a value. So in the same way, our life is a big book, so to say, and we have to understand that even though we have so many opportunities, like 2 or 3 times a week programs and association of pure devotees, we should not take it as something that's readily available, because even though it doesn't seem like it, we are like the 1% of people, not the majority of people. And in the same way, we have to see that the reason when pure devotees and spiritual masters, they come to the material world is also to give us a guidebook on how to act. So we see devotees that are very old, like Srila Prabhupada even is a great example, how they're traveling at such an old age. It shows that whenever we complain about small things like going to the temple early morning or waking up for something, it's not a correct excuse for blaming our body for not doing Krishna service. So thank you so much. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kirtan, Ashu, and Guruvani Mataji. That was a really very wonderful class. I mean, very nicely shared realization. Ashu, your narration of the story of Gajendra and also of the crocodile, like what happened to them before and later, was excellent. And the first verse where you said, bhakti will never go in waste. Everything else in our knowledge, what we are learning, material knowledge will go, but bhakti is something which will carry forward to our next life. And also the practical applications, which you said, is something very for us to take forward, to remember we should never take our association for granted and our chanting. And Kirtan, thank you for sharing the verse too and its realizations and saying how, we should never consider the spiritual master as just another ordinary human being. And thank you for also quoting what Giriraj Swami Maharaj said on Sunday on the pure devotees, how we should see the pain that some of them face, right? So that was really very wonderful. It was a very good beginning for our class this year. So thank you very much. And thank you, Ashu, for joining in the India time. I know it's very early for you. Thank you very much. With that, thank you, devotees, for joining today. We will see you all next Wednesday. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ashu, wonderful, and Kirtan, wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Guruvani Mataji, for supporting them. Thank you, Abhijit Prabhu.
Ashu is he worked the whole night, so now he'll go to sleep.
Oh, okay.
He kept him awake from 3 a.m., worried that he won't wake up.
Oh, I see.
3 a.m. his time to now.
Okay, Ashu, you can sleep for 2 hours. We'll give you 2 hours to sleep. Just joking. So
Yes, Prabhu.
please take rest, Ashu. Thank you very much for
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Definitely. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna devotees.
Nice class, Ashu and Kirtan.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Ah.
Hare Krishna, nice class.